They walk in that room, they become yours. And you got this energy inside your soul that says, I am the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students. Hey, y'all, when you get back, kick some butt. I'll see you in the winner's circle celebrating your victory. Let's go. 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 Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, everybody.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to week 171 of the AP and New Principals Academy, formerly known as the virtual AP Leadership Academy. Let me see who we got in the building this morning on this 5th day of August. We got Takeisha High in the building out there in Virginia. Rodney Richardson out there in Virginia. Oh, we got the Virginia Brigade in the building. We got Rodney Richardson in the building. We got Grace Castaneda in the building. Frank Lee, Dr. Demetrius Scott, Principal Dot McKeever Jeters in the building. Principal Otis Kitchen II. Donna Medina Shara Gantz in the building. And as I always tell you, Donna, I appreciate you. You know you part of this team, man. I appreciate you so much. We got Vanessa Zeskin in the building. Dr. Roz Gaskins in the building. Kimberly Wilson Daniel. She's going to be one of my guests later on in the year. Y'all stay tuned. John Herricks, Lysandra Brackens, Troy, Javon, Cato in the building. He said, good morning. Let's go. Fired up. That's where I'm at too, man. Hey, Troy, I'm on fire, man. I'm going to let you know in a few minutes. Ronald Pugh's in the building. Melissa Jones, Chunu. She's going to be one of my guests too coming up, man. I don't know the date, but she on that calendar. We got Kim Leah Harris Marshall in the building. Adrian, I think it is. Young out there. We got the Virginia folks in the building, man, out there in Newport News, Virginia. We got Jen GM in the building. Tony McClenny is here. Principal Karen Fletcher is here. Rashad Davis out there in the 702 in Vegas. Man, I was out there yesterday, Rashad. I had a good time in Vegas, man. I couldn't reach out or anything. I was there. I wasn't in Vegas for 24 hours, man. I got there late, went to the hotel, spoke 2 hours, and zoomed back to the airport. And here I am sitting at home, flight tomorrow to Florida, Miami. We got Lakeisha Mabry in the building. Where we at? Jacqueline Harriet is here. Hey, Jacqueline, I saw the email, but I didn't see it. In other words, I know you sent me something. I'm behind. This is August. This is that month. This is that month when I don't have a life. So I will get to it. But it's August is a rough month for anybody that speaks every day. Celeste Lennon is in the building. Mark Morrell is in the building. Lakeisha Mabry is in the building. Jocelyn Nelson is here. Nolan Martin. Where we at? There's Brandy Prince Wills. I met her Thursday, and we took a pic together down there in Norfolk, Virginia, doing a thing, one of the APs. And Brandy, I ain't forget you. I'm gonna reach out to you at some point when I have another one of these AP sessions, because somebody wrote on my thread, you the real deal, right? So when somebody wrote that on the thread, I said, okay, well, that's somebody I need to get on here, right? We got Katrina Roundtree Price in the building. Hit the share button, hit the retweet, y'all. I'm getting ready to get it started too. We got Jersey in the building. Edwin Garcia is here. Celeste Lennon is here. Yolanda McKinney, newly appointed AP out there in Arkansas. She is here. My wife is here. Oh, man. Kimberly Broughton Kafele, the queen, is in the building. Janae Glover Smalls is in the building. Hey, Kofi, what on? Kofi, man, where you been? And how you doing? Hey, Kofi, let's connect at some point so you could give me an update on where you are, what you're doing. You're in the administration chair yet, right? Good to see you, Kofi. Stay on. I got some dynamite leaders here. As a matter of fact, hey, you know something, Kofi? I just got this idea. What a session we could do with you and your wife, man. Husband and wife on the AP and New Principals Academy. Put that in the back of your head, man. I'm gonna work on that one. Let me go, y'all. It's that time. We got Lakeisha Nunez in the building. We got MPA Jaguars. That's my man, Principal Josh Tovar. That's my brother right there. And I think I got yeah. I got to get it going, y'all. So I'm just looking to see if there's any names that I like must say. Lou Sanders. I got to say Louis Sanders, man. You know, that's East Orange, New Jersey. Yeah, I can't miss Lou. So listen, y'all. Let me get it started now by formally saying to you, good morning. Greetings. Welcome to week 171. Can you believe that? I mean, it was yesterday. It was week 1, right? We in week 171 in year 4 of the AP and New Principals Academy. And as I ask every week, you know I'm going to ask, you know what I'm getting ready to ask you. Those of you who are new to the platform, you don't know yet, but you're getting ready to know. I got the same question every week. And that question is, how y'all feel, man? That's it. How you feel? That's an important question. I would dare say to everybody on the call and everyone who will watch the video later, I would dare say, ask yourself that question. Go to your mirror and ask yourself the question, how do you feel? Because, see, we could be operating at this high level trying to get it done, but within, I don't feel right emotionally. See? And now you got to address that too. You can't just be superstar for the students and staff. You got to be superstar within for yourself. And when self ain't working, you got to work on self, right? So I ask you that question, how you feel. But for me, in terms of just my attention to detail, my attention to self, I'm able to sustain this high level. So to start off today, I'm going to let you know how I feel, as I always do, as I have done for 171 weeks now. I'm on fire! Woo! Woo! I got to get that out every week, y'all. That's like my self-therapy, right? And like I was looking at this video that I did at my daughter's apartment. I think it was 2 weeks ago, and I had when we had this session when we called it a white educator and a black educator talk race in the classroom with my man Rick Wormley. And I was watching the video and I just didn't have the same energies. Like when I do this, when I did the recording with what was it, a few weeks ago with Rachel Edowekit, and I watched my energy. I said, man, because I can't release it like that when I'm in that hotel, right? But see, I'm home now. Ain't nobody stopping this, right? so that's where that's at. Hey, y'all, let me do a quick monologue, man. That's what I'm calling for effective today. I'm not all that I say commentary sometimes. All those words I use monologue because I got guests every week for the most part. Let me do this quick monologue. Earlier this week, a great woman, a great black woman, but a great woman here in New Jersey by the name of Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver. Sheila Oliver was the second in command in New Jersey behind Phil Murphy, the governor, right? So when Phil Murphy's out of town, she was the governor of this state. That's the highest ranking office of a black person in the state of New Jersey, right? Sheila Oliver. So she passed this week, age of 71. And, a lot of us speculated she'd be the next governor, all that type of thing. But she passed. But I wanted to do the tribute because I knew her personally, right? When back in 1986, when I received the award of District Level Teacher of the Year in East Orange, New Jersey, she was the president of the Board of Education. So think about it. Here she was, board member, then president, and kept rising, various levels, which I'm not going to get in all that specificity, but up to lieutenant governor. So when I knew her, she was the board president, and she was the one that handed me the plaque at the board meeting as the Teacher of the Year for the District of East Orange. And then a year later, I was appointed assistant principal. I said 1986, but I should have said 96 when I said assistant principal. That wasn't adding up for me then. 96 Teacher of the Year. So in 97, when I was appointed assistant principal, once again, she was the board president. So she had a lot to do with that decision, obviously. And then when I became principal a year later, once again, she was board president. So there's a personal connection there. So I just want to salute Sheila Oliver this morning, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver here in the great state of New Jersey, for a job well done, but a life well lived, right? And hopefully I'll have an opportunity, depending on my schedule, to be at the services later in the week or next week, whenever it's going to be. But again, salute to Lieutenant Governor, New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver. Let me go through to my announcements now. To the first timers here, some of you are here every week when I have a guest. You know, the people who are friendly or family of my guests, they're always here. But hopefully you're impressed with the platform, and this is not your last time if this is your first time. But to the first timers, welcome to the AP and New Principals Academy. Even though the primary focus is APs and new principals, we're actually relevant for everybody, including the Secretary of Education of the United States of America, right? We're relevant for the superintendent of schools. We're relevant for all central office, obviously business, building level leadership, but we're also relevant for the teacher, the parent, and the parent who has their child sitting here listening as well, because a lot of parents have their children watching. Right. So we're relevant for everybody, but I keep the primary focus on the assistant principal and that new principal. How am I defining new principal? The first 3 to 5 years, right? The first 3 to 5 years, you still new, baby, right? So this is still relevant for you. So welcome to the first timers. You missed 170 sessions though. So go to my YouTube channel, which is also called the AP and New Principals Academy, and you can binge watch them all. You're going to see some dynamite people on there. Some of them are not known, but they're doing extraordinary work, and then some of them are world renowned, right? So, and then everybody in between. So just go on and check it out and be a part of the family. The two books that coincide: first, my newest joint, my 13th book, The Assistant Principal Identity, protecting, hear that word, protecting your leadership mindset, fervor, and authenticity. In other words, that subtitle is saying to you that you've got a certain mindset, you've got a certain attitude, but working within a system, you can lose literally, and many of you probably know this, you can literally lose a portion or a larger portion of yourself, of your own attitude, of your own mindset, of your own disposition. You can lose that. So in this book, I'm talking about protecting it, guarding it, shielding it, so that it is never compromised. Next, your fervor, protecting your fervor. I'm talking about your drive and your determination and your energy and your excitement and your enthusiasm and your passion. You got to protect that, because you could go in there as this new AP, this new principal, and you on fire like me. But then as you work within this system with all these moving parts and all these people coming from different perspectives, you can lose some of that fire that you came in there with. And who loses in the bigger picture? The students. Because everything that you wanted to come in to do, you allowed a system of people and things to compromise your fire, your fervor. That's what this is about. And then lastly, your authenticity, man. I can't be nobody but Baruti Kafele or Principal Kafele. That's all I can be. I ain't trying to be you, and you. But if you don't protect your authenticity, your real self, you could find yourself looking in the mirror and not recognizing who that is looking back, because you have allowed your authenticity to be compromised. So that's what this book is about. If you got a second device there, just go ahead to Amazon and get it out the way. Order your copy. But then while you're at it, get the Assistant Principal 50, Critical Questions for Meaningful Leadership and Professional Growth. And then those new principles here, and might as well just give you all four of these real quick. The Principal 50, Critical Leadership Questions for Inspiring School-Wide Excellence. That new principle is for you. And then lastly is the quintessential question. Is my school a better school because I lead it? That's the quintessential question. I came up with that question years ago, and I can't top it. That is the question for a leader to ask of oneself every day when you lead that school. Because the translation to the question is, do I matter? Is there something about this school that my leadership changes the trajectory, alters the trajectory, increases the probability that young people will in fact be successful? Or could somebody else come in here and do things that I cannot do? It's not a question of competition. It's a question of your confidence. Said better, it's a question of your self-efficacy. What do you believe about yourself? What is your confidence within yourself? If I could come up with a better question, I will write the book when we ended this session today. I can't come up with it. Is my school a better school because I lead it? To the APs out there, does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically? That is the quintessential question for an assistant principal. Embrace it. I don't have it on the screens. I'm going to give it to you one more time. Does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically? Right? Enough there. I think I'm done. Make sure that you like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. I haven't been doing my commentary that I write every Sunday in a while because I need some me time, right? Like some self-care and self-preservation, because that's extra work to be sitting up there writing this commentary and on top of all my grind on the summer when I'm speaking, because I'm in a different state every day, right? So starting in September, we'll be back to that commentary posted every Sunday morning, not later than 10 o'clock. On that Facebook page. So like and follow that page now, the AP and New Principals Academy on Facebook. Enough of this, man. I got the big time guest in the building, man. That's what y'all on here to hear, because they got some stuff with them. I'm calling this two veteran APs talk leadership. Y'all know I've been bringing on the rookie APs, but I brought on some veterans today that been in this thing for a minute, who are more than qualified to be principals of schools, but they're in this AP capacity for the time being. Let me bring them on up here so y'all can holler at them. I got to change that background, so bear with me one hot second. Where we at? Yeah. I ain't even introduced them yet, and you see the energy they bring. And I'm gonna tell you why they're here, right? Because that's why they're here, right? Because the energy that they bring. I got Dr. Lakeisha Williams in the building, and I got Audrey Coleman in the building, two APs from Norfolk, Virginia Public Schools. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Let me tell the audience something real quick, y'all, before
Hey, world.
Hey, world. Listen, y'all, I was in Norfolk about a couple of months ago. Wasn't that long ago. And I was there to speak to assistant principals in the morning and principals in the afternoon. And these two women that you see on the screen stood out for me. And today was like, I had planned every first Saturday to be a solo Saturday for me. So I wasn't gonna have guests every first Saturday since May until whenever. But then when I met them, I said, man, I got to give up that solo, man. I got to give it up. I said, so I did. And I said to them, would y'all come on the academy with me? And they're like, yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, yeah, because, everybody's not like overly, because it's, you out here, you in the world when you put yourself in the world when you come on here, so, but they obliged me and I'm glad they did. And then we talked privately. Some of y'all might have seen the picture I posted today. So we had a chance to talk and all that kind of thing. And I said, man, the chemistry, and they actually friends with one another, good friends with one another. So I said, I gotta have them on. So here they are, here they are. So did they jump ahead of a whole lot of people? My list is 5 years long, y'all. Yeah, they jumped ahead of a whole lot of people. My list is 5 years long.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, I'm grateful that you answered the call. Let me read your bio so that the folks out there know who you are. And let me say to everybody out there, hit the share button, hit the retweet, hit the repost. We on 5 different platforms. So whatever platform you're on, just let others know. Hit the share button as well. But most importantly, as I'm learning all about the technology, hit that like button for me. Even if you don't like it, hit it anyway, right? Hit the like button, because that's the one that activates the algorithms to let the algorithms know there are things happening, right? And if we're really serious about changing the world, then we got to let the world know there are things happening on this platform, because that's the only reason the platform was created. So Dr. Lakeisha Williams is a native of Norfolk, Virginia. She's a graduate of Old Dominion University, earning a bachelor's degree in human service counseling with a minor in special education. In addition, Dr. Williams has a master's degree in special education from Cambridge College. She also received her doctorate from Grand Canyon University in organizational leadership with an emphasis on special education. This lifelong learner is a dedicated, experienced, visionary, and collaborative leader. She prides herself on being data-driven and an advocate for establishing a positive school culture. As a transformational leader, Dr. Williams knows how to encourage, inspire, and motivate employees to perform in ways that create meaningful change. She also believes in having shared decision-making and successful professional learning communities. Dr. Williams has been employed for 17 years with Norfolk Public Schools. She served as a substitute teacher, paraprofessional, special education teacher, general education teacher, GED program facilitator, department chair designee, interventionist, response to intervention specialist, and currently an assistant principal. Dr. Williams is committed to empowering staff and students to help them unleash their highest potential. That's a lot. Before I get to you, Audrey, I just got to, definitely. I gotta say this, because I know that there's some young folks on here live or who will see this later. And you might be in a substitute teaching position, and you may not have the vision of what that can turn into. But here's an example right in front of your eyes right now, that you could start down there at the bottom as the sub, the one the kids don't always respect. And in my case, they did, because I went in there with this mindset that I'm your teacher. So they hired me as the building base, and then the teacher went out long term. So guess who became the teacher in there as a building base sub? I didn't have to worry about that, and it gave me that jump start into the world that I occupy now. So if you're in one of those positions, hey, you can. It is okay for you to have a vision of being a principal one day, of being a superintendent one day. Right? Don't think that because you're a sub and you don't have all your credentials yet, that means you got to go out and get your credentials. Right? But the sky's the limit for you. So I just wanted to preach that to you real quick. Let me go to Audrey B. Coleman here, who's also in the building. Audrey B. Coleman is a native of Norfolk and proud Virginian. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Interdisciplinary Studies from Virginia State University, a Master of Education and Educational Specialist degree from Regent University, and is currently enrolled in the Doctor of Education program at Regent University. Audrey is known for her allegiance to developing lifelong learners as she cultivates the potential of those labeled and often overlooked. Her devotion has propelled her into a life dedicated to educating students in creative and innovative approaches that provides them with a roadmap to success. Audrey has performed in many capacities within the public school system, including general education teacher, serving gifted and inclusion students, grade level chair, instructional leadership member, math interventionist, teacher mentor, and currently as an assistant principal. Recently, she developed a Saturday school program that encouraged students to take ownership of their learning while holding parents accountable for advocating and becoming active in their child's education. Now, somebody might be right when I said that, someone might be out there right now saying, wait a minute, holding them accountable. What's that look like? I got you covered. It's in my questions, y'all. So it's coming. That means just stay put. Audrey proclaims that your education is the one thing a person can't take from you. However, you can't achieve what you haven't envisioned. Oh man, I gotta read that again, y'all. It hit different when I read it live, right? When I read it to myself, I read it, but when I'm reading it live, it just hit different. Let me do that one again. Audrey proclaims that education is the one thing a person can't take from you. However, you can't achieve what you haven't envisioned. Y'all hear that? Like if you can't dream big,
right,
and envision greatness, extraordinary, phenomenal, amazing, how you gonna get to something you ain't never seen in your mind's eye?
Exactly.
You gotta see. I'm just in bio stage, y'all. Hang on.
Calm down.
All right, y'all. Here we go. Last sentence. She has accepted the challenge to adjust your vision. I got to emphasize something. It didn't say she accepted the challenge to adjust her vision.
Right.
It says she has accepted the challenge to adjust your vision. Oh man. Oh man.
All right.
That's why I had to invite them, right? That's why they went 5 years over. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. You know, I'm glad you're here, man. We got a lot to talk about. So I read the bio, the two bios, and we got a glimpse of who you are relative to what you would want to put in a bio. But Dr. Williams, and I'm gonna go in and out of Dr. Williams and Lakeisha, but for now I'm gonna go with Dr. Williams. Dr. Williams, as an educator, going beyond what I read, who is Dr. Lakeisha Williams?
Dr. Lakeisha Williams is a person who is a servant. I really want to serve my community. I really want to serve my students. I really cater to the least of these. I'm a type of person, I go in whatever direction the Lord wants me to go into. I don't make these decisions on my own. I follow the lead of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ first, because he leads me above all avenues. He even gives me what I don't even expect to have. I'm someone who education is very important to me. I got my doctorate because I just wanted to learn. I'm a lifelong learner, and I want to make a major impact on children, the least of these, communities, teachers. We can't forget about the teachers. I just want to be someone who's a servant and who just wants to make a major impact, because I care about the experiences of other people's lives. I care about experiences in general, and they should be positive experiences. Because, you know, as an adult, if you're not having a positive experience, you're going to affect the least of these, the children, the people you work with, your leadership potentially. So that's who Lakeisha is, just authentic and genuine and real.
I love it. And that word, when you talked about being a servant, that really stood out for me. It's, you know, we hear it, but a lot of times, you know, there's some of us who will talk about being servant leaders, but really in their practice, they're not, you know, they're about themselves. But I know from just the short time that I've known you, that you're that person. And if I could holler at someone in the audience, it's in the family. I mean, you got to put the children first, man.
Absolutely.
You got to be a servant leader. You got to put the staff first. You got to put the parents first. You're going to grow within the process, because as you put them first and they develop, there's you developing within that. So that servitude, man, that's so critically important. You know, Audrey, again, I read the bios, but let's go beyond that now. As an educator, who is Audrey B. Coleman?
Well, first I want to thank you for this opportunity, but as an educator, I love children. So I am also a servant leader, but I tend to lean in the direction of common sense leadership. I believe that each student should have the opportunity to be intellectually challenged, to be motivated, to feel safe and supported, regardless of their economic status or their home life or their lack of exposure. So just looking into those gaps and pulling children that are always overlooked, pulling their potential out of them, that's the leader that I want to be. That's the educator that I am, because I feel like every student has potential. I'm a Norfolk native. I left, went, taught in different states, different cities, but I came back home because I know it's potential here in Norfolk, overlooked potential that needs to be exposed. So that's the educator that I am.
I love it. And you know, you that word overlook, and you use it in your bio as well. So clearly you are passionate about that overlooked, that labeled youngster. And we're actually going to get into that a little bit later on. So I'm glad you mentioned that. You know, the two of you, you're obviously, I think we all see it now, very intelligent, very talented. You could have done a zillion different things with your lives. But for whatever the reason, which I want to get into, you chose education, right? And you chose a field that is not easy, and ultimately, and I know God orders our steps.
Yes.
But you still got to answer that call, and you answered the call, and here you are in leadership as well. And school leadership is so different from other forms or aspects of leadership, because you're leading two different entities. You're leading adults and you're leading children simultaneously. So my question to you is sort of a A-B question. Why education? That's A. And then B, why education leadership? And I'm gonna start with Dr. Williams on that.
Well, you know, education has so many different modalities. Like, it's so much in it. I mean, everything's in it. It is actually the forefront to all the other jobs in the whole wide world. So, you know, what better to start here? Because you're going to be talking to the community. You're going to be at different schools. You're going to reach all different levels of students. You're going to reach even all different levels of, you know, teacher capacity. You're going to reach the least of these, as I said in my first conversation. It's the perfect opportunity to make a difference. It's the perfect opportunity to, I like to say, sink your teeth in and just make a huge impact with the babies. You know, you think that, you know, you should start in high school because they'll be more competent to understand. But no, it's when they're pre-K. It's even before that. It's even with the parents. It's even honestly going deeper with the parents that are pregnant with children. I mean, I chose education because I just have a huge passion for learning. I have a passion for teaching, and I just want to just take care of people in the process. I want teachers to have a good experience in their job of education. I want students to have the best experience possible. And when you you know, talk with the teachers and make an impact with the teachers, that in turn affects the children. So it's just a lot in education. And I'm the type of person that I don't really stay in my lane. I'm working on that, by the way. I just kind of color out. What you say? I'm just playing. I just color out. You know, as they say, color outside the lines. You know, wherever I feel a need or a pellet in my heart to go, I do it. So that's just me. I just started with education because it's a variety of things that you can do. And it's a variety of people that you can reach. You can reach everyone. So I'm being a talking rascal. Next.
No, you good. You good. Take your time. Audrey, same thing. Why education and why educational leadership?
Well, education has always been important to me. I come from a long line of educators, grandparents, uncles, cousins, aunties. I mean, a lot of people have been educators, teachers, principals along the line. And education is so important because if we look back in history, we didn't have the opportunity. And so now that we do, we need to take full advantage of the opportunity that we have to be educated. Regardless of where you come from, education has always been available. But now, as a leader, we need to make sure our teachers are still have the same passion, same capacity that we had, that we growing up that pour into students, not labeling a child because you can't reach the child. Yeah. But actually reaching the child so that you can understand where they come from. You can actually educate that child on what they need and give them the support that they deserve. Because every child has, like I said, has potential that we need to pull out of them. And we cannot pull it out if we always label them before we even give them a chance to understand where they are so we can take them where they need to go. And just naturally, I got married last year, and my initials are even ABC, so I know I'm born to be an educator. I'm born to be this. Like, this is what I have been born to do. So I just think that everybody has an opportunity to make a difference in a child's life, even in your adult life. If you did not finish school, it's always a chance for you to go back, continue to pour into education, continue to read something, get something, learn something every day, so that we can make this world a better place.
Yeah, and you know that once again with that overlooked and those labels. I remember during my teaching days, and I would get a new student, and I just refused to look at that cumulative folder. I didn't want to know what was in it. You know, let me figure this out. Let me meet this youngster and see who this youngster is in the context of his or her relationship with me. I don't need
exactly.
History. I may have looked at that far later, but while I'm being introduced to you, let me just find out who you are that way. Because exactly. We get to know, we don't know their past. We get to know, right? So I said I want to treat young people the same way.
And then taking that one step further, you know, when you get your class list as a teacher, I don't want the previous teacher to come tell me anything about any child on my list, because what they did or did not do for you, they want to do it for me because of the expectation that you set in the classroom.
Exactly. I don't want to hear that either.
Don't even tell me.
Chances are that assessment is not a good assessment.
Exactly.
I'll figure that out while we're together. I love it. I love it. You know, jumping into this assistant principalship, I'm on record. I've been saying it for years. I've written about it. I've spoken about it, and I'm gonna stand on it that the assistant principalship is the most misunderstood and underutilized position in all of education. And when I say that, I'm typically saying it in the context of instructional leadership. And it's not to paint with a broad brush, because I know definitively that there are APs across America who are with principals that understand that their role is to ensure that that AP is well-versed, well-rounded, so that if they do decide to go into the principalship, they've got full exposure to school leadership while they're in that capacity. But there's a whole lot that do not have that privilege and opportunity. So therefore, instructional leadership tends to take a back seat to discipline in those schools, right? In that particular context. So now I'm a strong disciplinarian, but I don't know anything else about leadership. I particularly don't know anything about instructional leadership and instructional coaching. So I'm gonna go with let me go with Dr. Williams first on this one. I'll switch it up soon. But Dr. Williams, what are your thoughts? And I don't mean you. We just talking generically. What are your thoughts about AP leadership taking a back seat, instructional leadership taking a back seat to discipline as it relates to the AP in those schools and the implications it has for teachers and for the students that they teach?
So first and foremost, you know, you do have to at times tackle the discipline, because if students aren't behaving and they're impeding the academic performance of other students, you can't have, you know, that instruction like you want. You still should, you know, teach and everything like that, but you have to get that behavior under control so that those students can have a clear mind to receive whatever instructional basis that you need them to receive. But I had the privilege of being a response to intervention specialist. I worked in central office, and I got a lot of that you know, information about the curriculum and just being able to go around and observe different teachers and understand, you know, what their intent of, as, you know, teaching the content versus the behavior. But just pretty much you do have to deal with the behavior. I think I'm going all over the place with this, but I am big on instruction. I am big on instruction, but I'm big on preparing for that instruction because, you know, you're kind of spinning your wheels if you're diving right into the instruction and you haven't dealt with classroom management. You haven't, you know, done anything to safeguard that instruction for that student, for yourself, and for the other students in the classroom. So I'm big on, you do have to make sure that that classroom management is in order and that discipline is intact before you can truly have the essence of instruction. So And that's different for each school.
I'm gonna go off script just based on what you said. Doc, it's the first day of school, students are coming back. And from your vantage point, what should be the focus of that teacher on that first day when those youngsters walk into that building? And when I say focus, I'm talking is there a place for instruction? Is it rules and consequences? Is it getting to know you? Where should we be by the end of that day on that first day of school?
Building relationships. Building relationships. For example, when I was in the classroom, what I did was, of course, I made sure I talked to the students, just had individualized conversations. I actually did like a survey. I gave my students a survey to see what type of learner they were, how they learned, what capacity, what modality, and all that jazz. And I just focused on building relationships and seeing the different personalities. I was pretty much on observation, and the instructional piece was there. But my focus for those like first week or two was making sure I built those strong relations. I had a good foundation with my students. And when I was a SPED teacher, I had a paraprofessional. I made sure that we were on the same page. We recognized the same things. And we just had a strong foundation before we really dived into the instruction full-fledged. So that's my biggest thing, building relationships. And I pride myself on building relationships.
I love it. And see, and that's why I wanted to throw that question at you, because, some places you go and it's all about going over some rules and consequences. And I can, that has its place, I guess. With me, it's not relevant because I understand the culture will supersede anything on a rule chart. But the relationship that you talked about, that's all I want to do. I just want to get to know these young people, but I want them to get to know me. Let's just forge relationship. Let's start the process of becoming family, and then I can make those transitions into instruction. But I love everything that you just said. I was going to ask you the same, Audrey, but let me first go to the question that was on the table in terms of that instructional leadership taking a back seat to discipline, and in the capacity of assistant principal in far too many places. What are your thoughts there before we go to the relationship?
Well, honestly, I don't think it ever takes a back seat. Instruction should always be first. And then two, a lot of times we say it's behaviors or people are acting out, discipline situation, but every form of behavior is a form of communication. And like you said, if we're building those relationships, we're understanding the communication of why the child is acting the way they are. Maybe they didn't eat last night. Maybe they didn't have nowhere to sleep last night. Maybe it was a shooting in the neighborhood. We don't know what happened. But if we always are, again, labeling these children because of where they came from, we will never get to opening their minds of where they can become, where they can go. So a lot of times instruction is always first because that's our goal. We need to teach our children. But if we always keep putting instruction on the back burner because of discipline, we will never get to where we need to go. Instead, we need to understand what the children are trying to communicate through their behaviors so we can educate them on what they need to learn.
Audrey, you've been appointed principal of XYZ school. And it's your first year, and you're going to meet your new staff because you're not in the building. You were AP. You're in this new school now, so you're going to meet your new staff. You've been meeting them over the summer, but this is the first time you're going to have them all together. And in the context of the conversation that I just had with Dr. Williams, what are some of those priority points? And I'm off script again. What are some of those priority points that you're going to share with teachers in terms of what you may expect of them in that classroom on that first day when students arrive to school?
Well, first, I'm gonna go back to my principal, former principal, Dr. Eric Goodman. When we're introducing the teachers to their new school, their new year, some teachers have never been inside of a school. They're fresh out of college, right inside the classroom. We're going to take a tour of the neighborhood. We're going to actually get on the bus and go and introduce ourselves to the community. So the community know exactly who we are. And then the teachers are not making assumptions of what they're getting ready to be exposed to, but they already have an idea of how they're going to teach their children. And as they are getting more information about their community and the children in the community, That way we can have a better understanding of how we can support our community, support our children. And then as the teachers get a better understanding of who they're getting ready to serve, we need to understand how we can serve them. Because what's going to happen in elementary school is not going to happen in XYZ school, because we have two different demographics. We have different demographics that have to be taken advantage of from our vantage point. And we have to serve our children the best that we can so they can still level out, be global learners, be, you know, relevant to everyone in the entire world. So there's no competition, but we have to meet them where they are again, to put them and take them to where we need to be. Also building that culture in our building so that we know, hey, this is our school. We're XYZ school. And in our school, we are a family, and we're going to do what we need to do to support our family, because everyone in here is a learner. Everyone in here is a student that is going to be educated. Everyone in here is going to go on that path to college or workforce or military. Everybody is on a path. They're going to be readers. They're going to be passionate about educating the next generation, because everyone in here has potential, and everyone in here is going to see who they really are, because we're going to pour into their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Audrey, I'm new. You just said it. I'm fresh out of college.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a suburban neighborhood. It's very different from the neighborhood that the school that I'm interviewing for is situated. So there are challenges in the community that I know nothing about firsthand. I know about it from reading the newspaper or seeing the television news, you know, that type of thing, and all the stereotypes. And now here I am. I'm assigned to your school, or you hired me. You're still in that principalship at XYZ school, by the way.
Yes.
And now you're putting us on this bus, and we're gonna go to the neighborhood.
Yes.
And learn the neighborhood. And you or whomever will point out some things about the neighborhood, that this is what the children are confronted by. This is what they're faced with. This is what they were born into. I'm that teacher now. And I have developed an anxiety that I did not have before I boarded that bus. I saw some things. I'm a little frightened by it. I'm a little intimidated by it. I didn't know it was like this. And then some of the stories that I heard. So now I come to you and I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm throwing this at you in real time, Audrey. Counsel me.
Well, what you're going to do, honestly, is think about your why. Why did you get an education to begin with? It doesn't matter where this child is coming from. What matters is your why. If you got into this because you love children, that's a child. Love them. So no matter where it's coming from, you need to understand what your why is. Why did you become a teacher? You didn't become a teacher just to teach children that live in the suburbs. You didn't become a teacher just to teach a certain type of child, because even children in the suburbs struggle. So we have to understand how to look at, reevaluate, look at why we're doing what we're doing in order for us to continue to be what we need to be.
But also, if I may, that backing up what you said, Audrey, you have to build that relationship. You have to make sure you build that relationship with the staff too, because through that relationship establishment, you'll be able to pick up on some things. And then that's why that's the first thing for me, because that helps me think ahead and put things in place ahead of time. Because I've had experience with this situation before, or this is what I peeped through talking to you and us sharing personal experiences. So I tend to kind of pick up on that and just put supports in place for that, and then start having merging in conversations as such during our communication building and our relationship building. So I agree with you, what you said.
Absolutely. And they're just providing them like a mentor. Maybe have veteran teachers in the building, giving them a mentor so they can walk them through getting over some of those hurdles that they may experience. Because exposure is one thing, but when you actually dive into it and do your research and look through why things are happening, you will have a better understanding of how to educate the child.
That's right.
And I should have said to you, the two of you off camera, you feel free to jump in on each other's questions, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's I forgot to mention that to you, but yeah, I threw the question at you because There's someone on the call right now. I'm talking in my camera right now. There's someone on this call, you, and you out there, and you have that teacher on your staff. There's a teacher shortage. And now you just trying to, some of us, I won't speak for all, but many of us, we just trying to get a body in the room at this point, at this late date, right? Maybe not so much where I am in Jersey, because they still got another month. But in the southern states with school on the horizon, some of them already started. I need somebody in that room. So you get somebody with the hope that as leader, you're going to develop that person into a superstar. But in the interim, you might have a somebody that knows nothing, absolutely nothing about that community, right? So now they learn about the community and they shaking in their boots. And that's why I asked the question. So I'm hollering at the people on the call right now. You got to be able to talk to them. And they both said it. Your relationship with that teacher, you can't just throw that teacher in there because you need a body in the classroom, because that teacher will resign within the first week.
Exactly.
Right. So that relationship between you and that new teacher and acclimating that teacher to this environment that may be very different from the environment that teacher grew up in, lives in, whatever the case may be. Man,
exactly.
And if I may, you can't, what I'm finding also is that's why relationship building is so important to me, because I feel like that sets the tone, that sets the stage, because you can't, honestly, nowadays with hiring, you can't tell your teachers, oh, and I'm not trying to insult, but a lot of them are not going to walk through the neighborhood. A lot of them are not going to walk through the community. They're going to tell you they have a doctor's appointment that day, or they're going to take teachers are at the point where they will tell you that is not what I'm going to do. So that's why my approach is just a little different with children and staff. I have to, and my colleagues, I have to build that relationship, because you learn so much within building that relationship, and you have to just have that discernment to just pick apart, those little things that you need to pay attention to. And my thing also, I may not be very good at articulating things and saying this and saying I would do this. I get in there. I'm about the work. My sister has always told me, be about the work. If you're about the work, people tell so much about you through the work. Right. I'm not really a talker. I'm a doer. Right. So that's it. Because I've been successful that way, building relationship with kids. I can get to the hardest, roughest kids, because of my demeanor. Because it's not all about, you can have a certain to-do list of what your expectations are. But until you get in there, you're going to change that to-do list. You got to sink your teeth in order to be able to have a to-do list, in my experience.
Yeah.
Just get in there and support them. Don't leave them hanging. Get in there, help them teach, I offer to, do a tier 1 instruction or small group, show your face, let that teacher know I'm in here with you. We together. What you need? I mean, so I'm a
I love it. You're a doer. It's I don't know where it is, and I hope the folks are not on here. Well, actually, I do hope they are, but I'm gonna be somewhere within the next 2 weeks. It might be Winston-Salem, but I'm not sure. It might be Michigan, but it's gonna be a room full of new teachers and their mentors. And I don't think it gets, as far as the work I do, I don't think it gets any better than that. That I have this opportunity of spending a half day or a full day, whatever it is, with folks who have never taught before, and the ones who are going to mentor them through. And certainly a lot of what we're talking about here would be a part of that conversation. But those are just these golden opportunities. And I must have talked you up, Amber Baker. I said Winston-Salem, and there is Miss Winston-Salem, Dr. Winston-Salem, Amber Baker. I don't know if y'all know her, but she's big time principal down there. She was, and now she's doing other things. Good to see you, Dr. Baker. And let me correct you on Louisville Cardinals. This is a replica. It's an alternate jersey of the Louisville Black Caps Negro Leagues jersey. This is not the one they wore. This is something that was created as just a little mesh summer jersey. But all I wear is the Negro League jerseys. And this is the Louisville, what shoulder am I at? This one, the Louisville Black Caps Negro League baseball team. Yeah. always teaching, man. You know, so because I know there's a lot of y'all thought I was rocking that Louisville Cardinals. Oh no, because in the Kentucky, the Kentucky folks, University of Kentucky, they be getting on me anyway. Why are you rocking them, right? So anyway, let me keep moving, y'all. You know, there's this age-old question that I want to throw at you, and the question is, what is the role of the assistant principal? And I mean, everybody's asking that question, and there's a zillion different answers. I got certain commentary I want to give to that, but as I wrote in my notes, before I go to my commentary on that, I want to go to you. Let me stay with Audrey on this one first. Audrey, in your opinion, what's the role of the assistant principal?
The question is, what isn't the role of the assistant principal?
She's showing off.
The assistant principal. I mean, wow. Okay, so the assistant principal is pretty much, it depending on what district or what school you're in, because every school does different things. But as the assistant principal, you're in charge of behavior and buses and discipline and cafeteria and special education. And the list goes on and on and on. Then you have your observation for your teachers, mental, like you have a long list of things to do, but your main goal is to assist the principal. So all those things that you are going to be titled or labeled for or captain of or all the boards or the PBIS, whatever it is, that is your job. However, your main job is to assist the principal. And so a lot of times we get caught up in, oh my goodness, one more thing. But if you organize yourself and organize all the tasks that you have to do, you will come up with a method that works for you that will make all those tasks. I guess you can make all those tasks be something that you can do on a regular basis. Yeah. So until you realize that you have people, and this is where when you have all these different tasks and titles under your name or on what you're in charge of, this is where you can build that leadership in your teachers. Yeah. Because yes, you're in charge of the cafeteria, but guess what? Ms. Johnson in the hallway, she has excellent management, and she don't mind taking her lunch and sitting in the cafeteria with her kids. So we're going to make a committee for this. And so you can take some of that load off of you so you can focus in on what exactly is the most important thing, which is that instruction in those classrooms, and focusing on those teachers that need that support in the classrooms to teach your children.
Love it. How about you, Doc?
The same thing. It's the assistant principal position is really undefinable because it depends on what school you're in. Mm-hmm. It depends on the leadership of your principal, and it depends on your community. So it's very different in like almost each school. So you are going to have a lot of jobs. You are going to have a lot of duties, but I had a different mindset coming in. My sister always taught me, be flexible. Be flexible. If you got to go teach, got to be flexible. If you got to go talk to this crazy parent, be flexible. If you got to go talk in front of the school board, be flexible. So just like Audrey said, it's undefinable, but you just have to be just ready for whatever is thrown your way. As she said, I always wanted to have a to-do list, and I would call myself coming in my office, closing the door, putting my essential oils on and stuff, and getting my woo sock going. And I had my little pad that I liked, and it was appealing to my eye, my pink pen. No, I'm not an AKA, but I want to be. But anyway, so, and I would just have my pen. I would just write down my to-do list and all that kind of stuff.
Keep going.
Okay, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. I would have my pink pen. Don't worry about that. That's just it. That's my face of passion, okay? So I would have my pink pen, and I would try to write my to-do list and put down what I'm going to focus on for the day. And none of it ever happened. Every time I sat down to try to do that, it never happened. Because then you had to go, like if a staff was out, you had to go find that or cover that class. So my advice to anyone in education, not just assistant principals, is to be flexible. Be flexible and let your ego and your pride fall to the wayside.
Yes.
Yeah. Do me a
Absolutely. And
favor,
I had a
hold
coach.
that real quick, Audrey.
Okay.
Doc, go out and come back in, and that should take
Yes,
care.
sir.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I had speaking on what she was just saying, I had a coach, Kathy Crum. She works at Focus Schools, and she always told me to focus on what you can control. You can't control everything that's going on, but focus on what you can control. That way you have better outcomes when you just focus on that one central thing that you can control.
Those things you can control. And I always like to throw that word influence into those things that I have influence over. That's what I'm going to focus on. Those things that I have control over. That's what I'm going to focus on. So
exactly.
The way I always looked at it, Audrey, I said, like you take, for example, poverty. I said, poverty, I don't have control. There you go. I don't have control nor influence over it. So therefore, I've got the concern about it as it relates to my students, but it's not going to hinder or hamper me from being who I need to be toward taking those students to the next level. That's not my.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to use that as a crutch, but I don't have influence over that. I don't have control over that. But hopefully I can play my role in building young people who will go out here and can effectuate change as it relates to the society that we live in right now.
Right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Here's my thoughts on that question. What is the role of the assistant principal? I mean, in this book, I said to support the principal, right? So I'm on record. But when I wrote it, when I speak about it, there's a portion of me that cringes, right? And here's why. People say to support the principal, or to assist the principal, or to support the vision of the principal. That's what they'll say. Say, man, I get it. I say it. I write it. But I said it almost puts this assistant principal in this passive, non-assertive, non-initiative taking role. And I said, maybe we need to even reimagine why the assistant principal's in the building in the first place. Now, that word assistant or vice, it implies that I'm there to assist. Right. But if I'm in a school with a principal who believes in me, who trusts my judgment, who has faith in me to give me a directive and doesn't even have to follow up on it because he or she knows it's going to get done, or this person has his or her own ideas about doing things, and I'm a principal who's not threatened by that, then to me, and I want to hear your thoughts. You can disagree. To me, this begins to elevate this person, not just the title and the role, but it begins to elevate this person into his or her level of significance for that school, because I'm not just supporting your vision and assisting you as the principal, but I'm an entity in this building too, right? And I got some stuff with me too. After all, I'm in the role, so I must have been pretty good at what I used to do. And in a lot of cases, that's a classroom teacher. So can I be that person while still assisting you and supporting your vision, right? So I'm saying that, and I think I'm kind of rushing it, so I'm not really fully articulating it the way I want to. But what I'm saying is that if I'm in that capacity with that principal that understands, that gets it, then I think I can be more than just an assister and a supporter. I can be a real leader entity in this building. Howland, let's go with Dr. Williams first. What do you think? What do you think? Disagree with me if you want. It's all good.
Oh yeah. No. I agree. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me. I'm good. Okay, good. No, scared to death. No, I agree with you. And it does make a difference when your principal supports you and when they see who you are. I was just under a principal like that, Dr. Phillips, and she saw me and she trusted me. That's big for me. And she did not micromanage me. She trusted me. And that does give you this confidence, that it just supersedes anything. And it makes you do your job better. Knowing you're on the same page with that principal, you having a good connected relationship with them. They don't hear about you talking about them. You don't hear about them talking about you. Nothing, none of that. It does make a difference. And it does empower you in a way. And then also the difference that it makes too is that, you know how, let's just be authentic here. The staff everybody wants to get to the principal. You're that middleman that that sometimes they don't like to have to go through or to. Yeah. And you just want to have to accept that and let that ego and pride down. Just want to say that. But everybody's trying to get to the principal. Everybody is trying to get to the principal. And a lot of them are going to say things, you know, they have certain perceptions about you that they're going to tell the principal. And they're going to say those things to the principal. But it's something about a principal that knows you and looks at that sideline stuff and says, no, she wouldn't say that. That don't even sound like her. That's why if you're about the work, your work speaks for itself. And it establishes relationships that you couldn't imagine. It gets you so much favor with even the roughest, toughest populations, meaning children, stakeholders, teachers, staff. So it does make a difference. It does just invigorate you in a sense. So yeah, did I answer the question or did I call outside?
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Okay, good. Because I was worried about answers and stuff.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Go ahead, Audrey. What your thoughts?
Well, my thought on that is what she's saying, but to make sure that you're a team. Like, yes, you are working with the principal, you assisting the principal, you are trying to make this vision come to pass. But if you are not working as a team, or if it is some kind of like undermining when teachers come to you, it's like you playing good cop, bad cop instead of playing the same on the same team. That's when it's going to be difficult. But like you said, and when your principal knows you and the principal knows the work that you are doing and appreciates the work that you're doing, that good cop, bad cop stops, because we're talking the same language. We're playing the same game and we're reaching the same goal. So a lot of times it's just having those courageous conversations and making sure that we're all on the same page. We're going towards the same vision and we're going to do it together.
Yeah. You know, when I was in the 7th and 8th grade, might have been just 8th, I had this principal by the name of Henry Hamilton. That was in the class of 1974. I went on, graduated from I was a middle school. I went on and he moved on, but he stayed in the district. So he became Whitney Houston's principal, and in the same city in East Orange. And now the school is called the Whitney Houston Academy. Well, it's 2023 now. He's still the principal. He's about 87 years old. And I know that at his age, he couldn't possibly be who he used to be. But what I also know, and he'll be on this platform at some point, he doesn't know that, but he will. I got to call him. But I'm saying all that to say this. I know he's training assistant principals, and I know that he's getting them ready for the principalship. And I always say, I say it to a lot of people, that there's a part of me that wants to go back into a school one day, and probably at the elementary level, and just with a heavy duty focus on training APs, just getting them ready. They get ready, they ready, move on. Give me a whole new batch of APs, right? Fresh out of the classroom, don't know nothing. And let me train them up to be great while I'm just kind of in the background, facilitating the whole process. But they're the ones who are leading the school. And I kind of envision myself in my 70s, right? I'm 62 now, so it's a long way off. But in my 70s, my 80s, doing what Mr. Hamilton does, just getting these APs ready and giving them full reign to lead, because I trust them and I'm the one that hired them. And if I'm hiring somebody that doesn't pan out, then it's a reflection of my recruiting and hiring ability anyway, right? So I just wanted to throw that at you. That's just where I'm at as far as my evolving thinking of this role called the assistant principalship. But let's jump into something a little different here. I want to go to you, Audrey, and I'm gonna read right from your bio. It states, and I worded it so it could be in the second person. You are known for your allegiance to developing lifelong learners as you cultivate the potential of those labeled and often overlooked. So there are two things that jump out at me on that statement. The first is this word allegiance, right? And I don't know that I've ever heard this word used in the context upon which you used it. It's a mighty word, and it means loyalty, as we all know. So I took this as I read because I read both of your bios several times, and I took it. I looked at it and I thought about, figuratively speaking, pledging loyalty and to develop lifelong learners of those scholars who are labeled and often overlooked. So my question to you, in your assistant principal capacity, what does it look like to be in terms of this allegiance that you talk about? Again, let me, for the sake of the audience, let me just read this statement one more time, because I said a lot. You're known for your allegiance to developing lifelong learners as you cultivate the potential of those labeled and often overlooked. So that was for the audience. So for you then, Audrey, in your assistant principal capacity, what does that look like, allegiance?
That looks like being present, always being there, making sure the children understand that they have somebody to come to. Again, going back to those relationship pieces, when we can go in classrooms, do observations, and you say, why in the world is John over there in that corner by himself? Why, why isn't he learning? But then next week I get a note on my desk that he needs to be up for child study, but he's here, and you have this opportunity to pour into him, and now he's not passing any of his grades or his classes because you're not giving him that chance. So a lot of times, Johnny will come to my office and he'll say, "Hey, Miss Williams, I'm Coleman now, sorry. Hey, Miss Coleman, I need help with this." But you built that relationship with him to understand that he needs help. He needs somebody that's going to be there for him. So I am that one that stands in the place and I'm present, so they understand when I need something, I can go to Miss Coleman and help her. Help him understand that, listen, this is all you missed. This is all you missed. This is all you need to do. You got it. You're supporting them and making sure they're confident in what they're doing.
I love it. I love it. So the second thing you said, it was when you talked about labeled and often overlooked. So in your assistant principal capacity, what measures, and I'm being very particular when I say in your assistant principal capacity, now, as opposed to that promotion you got a few minutes ago. Right. In your assistant principal capacity, what measures do you take to decrease the probability that students are in fact labeled and overlooked by staff?
I make sure the staff understands they have to build a relationship with the parents. It does not make any sense for you to have a child in your class all year and you never met the parent. You never called the parent, but here you come and you want to retain the child. But you never. September was here. You knew Johnny could not spell his whole name in September. He's in third grade. Here it is, June, and Johnny can't spell his name. That's a problem with you, not with Johnny. So I need you to understand that you have to build those relationships with parents. On the first day of, even when I was a teacher, the first day of school, I took that list. I stayed at the school and called every parent on the list, because I need you to understand we're now in a partnership. This is your child when he's at home. He's my child when he's here. And we're going to get to where we need to go. And so I need teachers to have the same concept, the same mindset that this is my child. And I would not let my child's teacher treat my kids like this. So why would I do that to anybody else's kid? So now he's my child, and I need to do what I need to do for this child. So I'm making sure that my teachers understand that now you have the opportunity to change somebody's life. It does not matter what happened, how he was when he came to your classroom. Today's your day to change that story. Change the story today.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. It's my child.
Exactly.
And that youngster walks in, and you know that keynote closing that I show when this comes on the air, that you probably saw when you were sitting there, and I am the number one determinant of the success or failure of my, and I put that heavy duty emphasis on that word, my students, and And the whole point of that is just to encourage upon the folks in the audience that during those hours that they're in your school, during those minutes that they're in your classroom, they're yours.
Exactly.
They're yours. They're not the parents, because the parents not in there co-teaching with you. They're yours in that moment. And then when they leave, then they go back home to their parent. But in that moment, that's a different mindset when you and I are in the classroom as a teacher with young people, as opposed to I just got them temporarily. I'm teaching them. I'm their teacher. No, let's go. Let's dig a little bit deeper.
Go deeper. That's
Train
right.
them as your own while they're there with you. I think that forges a much more healthy relationship with them as well.
Exactly.
Because you're holding yourself accountable to who they are as your students.
And I really like what
jump in.
I really like what you said, Audrey, about being present, because in the morning, so just for example, I try to make sure, and I really invite you all to, if you're not doing this already, to do this. Just check in with yourself first, because sometimes you can discover that you're the one that inhibits that progress. So just checking with yourself in the morning, make sure that you're not bringing anything personal from home into that building. I know sometimes you can't help it, but you need to take your mental health day in. But a lot of times you can't help it. But really, that's why I make sure I have that time. Well, I try to have that time in the morning to just sit and check in with Lakeisha, not Dr. Williams, Lakeisha. I try to check in with Lakeisha, because that helps me to do what Audrey said. Make sure you're there the days that you can be most days. Be there most days. Don't take a lot of time off and stuff and mental health days. Be there, because it's going back to remembering what your why is. Be present for those kids. Let those kids see that you're there almost every day. I programmed my kids so good. They knew I was coming in that classroom at some point in the day, not just once, but a couple of times. Make sure you're present. Make sure you get in there with that teacher and piggyback on what she says. Make sure that you keep your eyes and ears open to hear anything that's, like if you're walking by a classroom and you hear a teacher trying to get her classroom management established, pop in. I wore my heels purposely to work. They know Dr. Williams on her way. They knew they would hear them clicks in the hallway. They knew I was there. I was in his house. Okay. So, you got to make sure you're present. Go in there with those teachers. Sometimes you have to model for your staff on really, and I hate to say this, sometimes you have to model that equality, model that equity, model that whatever instruction, model sincerity. I mean, I'm just being authentic. We're hiring these days, and a lot of times we don't really look and see who this person really is. Because I've been in a lot of situations in which the children would tell me something, and that when my antlers would go up. A lot of things that I found out about teachers and staff were from my babies, because they felt comfortable coming to me and saying, hey, she don't really spend too much time on this one right here. She just kind of moves ahead of it. And that was my first antler to get in that classroom. And then I was able to support my teacher. You don't put your teachers on Front Street and say, oh, you didn't go, Miss So-and-so, you don't do that. You merge your supportive self in there and say, hey, I have a question. With this number 1, can you just kind of go back right here? Okay, that's what it was. You have to have and I think it's a personality thing too. It's not something you can teach on how to get along with people and to, just reach people. It's not something you can really teach. Because I just keep in my mind, and just to end it, because I'm being a talking rascal again, just to end it. And please, everybody, world, take this right here. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. People always remember how you treat them, especially in the worst situations.
Yeah, you got that right.
People always remember that.
You got that
right.
I
know I went on a tangent, but it just...
No. It's all good.
Be present. Be there for those kids. Show them, and that's another reason why I'm in education too, is because I want to show my children that, you can accomplish the same thing. You can have whatever you want in life. You just have to really push and show effort. And that's another reason why I got my doctorate, because I wanted my Black girls to see that Slissa went to get her doctorate, got the highest education possible, and coming back to give back. That's my biggest thing. I want to give back. Give back. I want to give everything. And I'm about to get emotional, so I have to scale back. But I want to give everything that I learned, everything in my power to be of service to the least of these. So I'm gonna end it with that before I start being a bucket of tears.
Yeah, no, I understand, because my wife is upstairs watching, and she knows I can do the same from time to time, But you said something. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it.
Right.
Sometimes when I'm on the road, I'll go to the ATM and I'll get $100 cash, because I don't carry cash at all. So I'll go get $100. And I'm saying to myself, if I get a young, usually it's a young lady, if I get a young waitress and she just serves me well, just does what she's supposed to do, knows when to come back and check on me, in pleasant demeanor, all that kind of thing, then this $100 is hers. So the meal might be $15, but I'm gonna give her $100. So now I'm gonna see what you do without me prompting you, and let's see if I can if I can bless you with this $100 tip. And I do it kind of frequently. And in a lot of cases, I can't do it, but in other cases, and one of the things I pride myself on, I leave the money, but they can't find me when they receive it. Right.
Right.
Like I'm gone.
Right.
So all they know is that dude that was sitting there left this $100, or he wrote it on the bill if I don't have the money, but I was so impressed with the service that I just write it in. And sometime I look in the rear view and I see them come out the door and they looking for me, but I'm gone. Now every now and then, like I was telling my wife, I was in Richmond, right in your state, and the woman was so friendly, and so I gave her the $100, and she hugged me and she said, "You don't understand." You don't understand. And she kept hugging me, man. And I said, "Look, you made me feel, I'm not in a 5-star restaurant, but you sure made me feel like I was." And that's why I did that.
That's important.
See, it's not just what you say, but it's how you say it. It's not just what you say, but how you make somebody feel.
Absolutely.
And that matters. And sometimes with a lot of our young people, that's a skill they don't have. They don't understand that. You don't know who's sitting in a place, a restaurant or somewhere. You don't know who's coming in there. You don't know what kind of opportunity might be sitting there. So you got to be absolutely. Young lady, one more, because this ain't really about this, but you triggered it. But I'm in this restaurant. Young lady was first day on the job. Young lady, she was Latino. I gave her the $100, but she got me before I walked out the door. She says, "Sir," she was crying, "you don't understand. I have a child. This is Christmas season. I cannot afford a gift for my baby. You just gave it to me." I said, "Hey, well, I'm glad I could be of some kind of help to you, But it's because of her. But I'm saying it. I'm not trying to bring attention to myself. I'm saying it because of her service on day one. She knew to check on me. She knew to make sure that everything was the way it should be. And it's her first day on the job. I said to her, "Make sure you sustain this, because I'm not going to be the only one that's going to bless you."
Right.
You're the same way when these customers come in here, and you'd be surprised the amount of money that they want to leave you, which is bill. Right. So you triggered that, Dr. Williams. I just had to throw that out there. I want to stay with you too, Dr. Williams. By the way, y'all, it's 12:20 Eastern time. I got a little more, not too much, but I got to take a station break, man. The AP Academy. Identity, protecting your leadership mindset, fervor, and authenticity. You can get it from the publisher at ASCD, but I always like when you go right to Amazon, because that way I could track that data in terms of the sales rank. So wherever you go, just get yourself a copy if you're going to be part of this platform, or you are part of this platform. This is the newest one. It came out May 5th. Get yourself a copy. Back to our show. All right. So want to read from your bio, Dr. Williams. You said you pride yourself on being data-driven and an advocate for establishing a positive school culture. Now, for the family out there, I want to say that again. You pride yourself on being data-driven and an advocate for establishing a positive school culture. So that stood out for me as I read it. So I want you to share with us, talk to us about how, given the responsibilities of an assistant principal, and you talked about all those various different responsibilities. How do you, within all of that, maintain a commitment to being data-driven?
Because data tells a story. Data will tell you everything that you need to know. Data tells a full story. I take data on teacher demeanor. I take the data, of course, the test scores and universal screeners, formal, informal assessment data, all of that. I take data on, just as far as, teacher capacity. I take it on teacher contingency. I take it on attendance of the teachers and the students. It just tells me a story. And I really learned about data. That's why I say data. And really, this is just a digression right here. Everybody should be taking data down to the custodians in the school. Everybody should take data. Everybody should take data. It's not just for the teachers. It's not just for the principals. It's not just for the instructional leaders. Everybody should be taking data. And I heard that confirmed in our leadership conference as well this past week.
Dr. Steve Perry with y'all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, and he confirmed it. So I ain't take credit now. Don't be going and saying that I took credit for that. I mentioned leadership conference now, but I am going to take credit for it today, brother.
Yeah.
But so everything is data. Data tells a story. Data is that factual, concrete information that you need. Because when I first started off as a leader, I kind of went into everything with feelings, how I felt. How did this make me feel? What I sensed about that. Data is going to give you that actualization. It's going to give you that concrete, black and white information that you need to make an informed decision. So I use it. I even in the beginning, when I did this a lot as an instructional specialist, and I tried to merge it into my assistant principalship, the personalities assessment for my staff. So I can learn, how they work, their skill set, what they're best at. How can I reach them? What type of learner are they? How can I be the best leader for them? How can I reach them? So data is just it for me. Especially as a response to intervention specialist. That's all we did was data. So from there, I learned, I said, wait a minute, data is not just for instruction. It is for also, just leading a school, different personalities, putting people in their skill set in a certain place. How well did they do here? And of course, for behavior, it's multidisciplinary. You can use it all for everything. And it's made me become a better leader because I had the factual information, because not everybody has the perspectives as you. Not everybody has the same spirit or understanding of your intentions. So it's that data that says, palau, this is this, that, and this is that. It's no feelings involved in it. It's nothing. This is it right here. This is the evidence. So yeah, data is a big part of my job.
It sure is.
So with everything you just said, talk to that assistant principal that's on here now, that's new, coming out of the classroom, that may not be on their radar, or they've done a year, they got a year under their belt, but they were that full-time disciplinarian, lunch duty, and all that other stuff, but data wasn't a part of their repertoire. Talk to that person about how they incorporate data analysis into their work as an assistant principal.
Oh, yeah, just like the teachers take data. Just make sure you have your spreadsheets. Make sure you have your spreadsheets and your domains, your different domains in which you want to mark instances from. That's it. Just make sure you have something tangible, not just what your observations were, not just what you thought you saw, because people will be quick to tell you, no, nope, show me it then. Show me, especially parents in your community. So that just kind of drove me. I hope that answered the question, but just make sure you have your paperwork, your tangible evidence or computer or however you track your data. Just make sure you have your, okay, so for example, I have different folders on my computer, and I have different Excel spreadsheets. And then as far as like, I have one for test scores, I'll label that. And then I'll mark it like every day, or if I don't get a chance to mark it every day, I'll do like it maybe like every couple of days or every week. And I'll have my different folders on my desk, and I'll have my spreadsheet so that if anything came down to it, I can say, okay, hold on for a minute. And I can show them my spreadsheet and show them I'm paying attention. And this, I tracked it on this date. I got, this is what happened on this date. I tracked it on this date, and this is what happened on this date. Just, I mean, because you can't sell observation a lot of times. You have to have something tangible. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, it does. It does. Let me stay with you. Did I hear Audrey's voice?
No, that was Keisha.
Oh, so once again, from your bio, you said you pride yourself on being an advocate for establishing a positive school culture, right? So yes. Talk to us about the significance of school culture to your work in your AP capacity.
Well, it's really important to, you know, of course we get into the field to focus on children, but you also have to have the teachers as well. So you need to figure out what your teachers like. You need to figure out their best way to receive information. You need to figure out building that relationship with your teachers pretty much, and figure out what their buy-in is first. Because if you figure out the teacher's buy-in, oh, it's going to be wondrous for your children, because they're going to give it their best shot. They're going to come in feeling good, you know, wearing their cute clothes and stuff. I'm just playing. But, you know, they're going to come in feeling good. And that in turn will kind of show, it will really show in your students, in your building. You know, just establishing school culture, like finding out like what incentives maybe to give the teachers, getting on that morning announcement and letting them hear you in the house. Hey, good morning. Having maybe, you know, something like an inspirational quote, you know, to read to your teachers first thing in the morning. Maybe having book talks, doing maybe a paint night ever so often, maybe giving them extra planning time. You know, you have to take all those things into consideration. You really have to pay attention to your teachers. I've been in situations in which they were just focused all on the kids. Yes, we do. And they're very, you know, high in priority, but we also have to make sure our teachers are okay as well. And tie into their needs and what's going on with them.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Got to make sure that the teachers are okay.
Exactly.
Right? So that culture encompasses them as well, not just the young people. You know, Audrey, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. And if I may, I'm the type of person, I have to have fun. I have to. Yeah. You know, and I'm not, you know, a lot of people are not going to receive you, but you have to be authentic and genuine to who you are. And you have to, you know, show people, you know, who you are too, you know. Of course, in a positive way. And you have to let teachers know that you're a human being, staff know that you're a human being as well. And you have to be authentic, because I tell you, just like kids, they can sniff it out you if you're not authentic and genuine. They will pass you off to the dogs in the backyard, roof. They will get you out of it, you know. So you have to really figure out, spend some time with yourself. Not, you know, of course we want to spend time with our families, but make sure you're having that time, that unencumbered time by yourself, so you can really get a feel for who you are, what you like, and start to incorporate some of that, you know, in, you know, to boost staff morale. Because I mean, my buy-in was staff morale, and I learned from the best, Dr. Alana Balthazar. That's staff morale. That's my sister. Staff morale. You put some things that you like, because 9 times out of 10, the staff like it too. Yeah. You know, and maybe have them something to eat. That's the buy-in, right? To get them something to eat. Treat them to lunch sometimes. You know, you have to make the people who are doing the job feel good. and appeal to some of the things that they like to do as well.
Absolutely.
That's my. Is that you trying to get me to be quiet? Oh, I'm just playing. I'm playing. Oh, and I just feel like I need to say this for somebody out there. I feel like I need to say this to the world. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And that is for somebody. I know that. So
yeah, that's for somebody. And I like with Harris Marshall, Kim Leah, I believe it's pronounced. I had the privilege of working under Dr. Williams' leadership, and she is true to all what she's sharing on this platform.
Oh, hey, Dr. Marshall.
I appreciate you.
And I can't imagine. Let me holler at the fam out there, folks. If you're not having fun within your leadership, you're gonna have to reassess what you're doing.
Right.
See, it's challenging as overwhelming as the work can be, as frustrating as the work can be, because it can be. But somewhere in there, it gotta be fun, man. You gotta be having a ball. Because if you're not, man, you're gonna have to re-examine. And why am I doing this work that I don't love, that I'm not having fun doing?
Exactly. And like my pastor, Cedric Rousen says to us all the time, it's hard to be publicly faithful and privately frustrated.
Ooh!
To shout out to Cedric Rousen, place of change. But you can't be publicly faithful. Like you can't be faithful and showing up every day and then being privately frustrated because you're not doing what you are called to do. You can't do that.
That's deep waters, Audrey.
Yeah, he said a word there. He said a word there. Audrey, you go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, sir.
Audrey, you developed that Saturday school program, which I'm reading right from the bio, that encouraged students to take ownership of their learning, and I told you I was going to come to this, while holding parents accountable for advocating and becoming active in their children's education. So I got a quick four-parter for you. The teachers. Are the teachers the instructors in this program, or are you the instructor?
The teachers are the instructors in this program, because the teachers realize that there's a need beyond the classroom hours. And so we can't expect our children to do better, be better, if we're not willing to put in the time to give them the opportunity. And then as far as like having the parents advocate for their children, we've noticed that a lot of children are coming to school. They're 5 years old now. They had the same name for 5 years. And the parent has never took the time or the opportunity to spell the child's name or have the child write their name. And so now they're they're 5 years old. They're in kindergarten. They're in a new environment, never been to school before. But now we have to take the opportunity to say, your name is Keisha. It starts with the letter K. We have to do those steps to that, and then have the parents come in as well, because they don't realize that that's from birth to school. That's the opportunity for them to teach their child. They say, oh no, we're gonna wait till they get to school, and then the school gonna handle it. But at the end of the day, if you don't advocate for your child, that's when you're gonna get that new teacher that's gonna label your child and try to take your child to child study, because they have delays and they don't know the stuff. But we have to take the opportunity to actually pour into not only the child, but the parent as well, to educate them on how to teach their child at home.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
So taking opportunities like that, like Saturday schools, or and it was surprising to a lot of people that people would actually come out on Saturdays. And then I frown upon a lot of teachers that did not participate in the program because, that's just free childcare. It may be free childcare, but it's free childcare with an opportunity to teach a student. And that's what we're here for. We're here to service our children. So why not take advantage of all the opportunity and all the time that we can to pour into the children?
So do the teachers require professional development for this program?
The teachers are already certified teachers. So we do have I pulled certain teachers that I knew had leadership qualities. And from that program, majority of the teachers that I pulled from that program are now specialists. They're reading specialists. They have grown up in their leadership abilities. They have their programs of their own. Some of them even started their own child care programs. But knowing and going through the observations and looking around at teachers, going in their classroom saying, hey, this person had something. let's pour into them and give them that confidence that they have something so they can go ahead and be who they're supposed to be.
And lastly, taking ownership of their learning in that program. What does that look like?
That looks like the child writing their own goals. Okay, by the end of this week, I want to be able to read.
Data.
And when that child actually starts reading, they are so overjoyed, and they're taking ownership of it. And like now they're trying to teach somebody else that they can relate to other children. Hey, I remember I was doing this, and now look, this is all you have to do. And they're actually trying to teach somebody else how to read because they're taking ownership of their learning and knowing that if they continue to learn, they can continue to grow.
Love it.
You've impacted, you made a positive impact on children and teachers. You go, girl.
Yeah. No doubt. That's a great program. Dr. Williams, you define yourself as a transformational leader. And that word has so many different connotations to it as well, that term. How are you defining transformational leader? And how does one operate as a transformational leader in an assistant principal capacity?
Well, number one, when you walk into a room, not priding yourself as being the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
You're not the smartest person in the room.
Right.
Just know that.
Yeah.
Other people have ideas and great ideas, that they want to share, and programs that are impactful and student success and just ideas for staff morale, for example. I like to listen. I like to I love feedback. I love collaboration. I love it because, I try to surround myself intentionally, in some situations with people who know more than I do. So that I can learn as well. Because I want my teachers, my staff to know that I'm a lifelong learner, and you may have some type of capacity or some type of skill that I want to learn. And also a part of that transformational piece, I like to make sure that, staff knows their potential, know what are your skills? What do you like to do? What do you want to go into leadership? I want to help and build teacher capacity. So that's what I mean with the transformational piece. I want to help and build student capacity. I want them to maximize their highest potential, and the same for my staff too. So it's not just about me. I want to make sure that my staff has endeavors that they want to pursue, and I want to try to make that happen for them. I want to mentor them. I want to be there for them as they pursue what they want to do. I don't expect them to stay in that capacity forever.
Yeah.
I want to give them the tools and whatever knowledge that I have in order to grow. So, transform, bring change, positive change. Add some things in there, to help with teacher capacity, teacher morale. Keep going back to morale. So that's what I mean by transformational leader.
I love it.
Help people to successful endeavors.
I love it. And your bio indicates that you know, to quote you know how to encourage, inspire, and motivate employees to perform in ways that create meaningful change. Talk to us about taking what I just said. How does that transfer into motivating that unmotivated staff member?
Okay, so that's where we go back to the relationship building. That's when we go back to building relationships, having conversations, with that unmotivated staff member. Let me give you a quick story. So this is when I was an instructional specialist. So I had to come in, and the administration were having an issue with a teacher, and they said that she was doing really good at one point, and the last year she just took a nosedive. And her attitude has been very sour. She's had a lot of parent complaints, a lot of student issues and such. So me being me, I just went in, focusing on the work And I started to build the relationship with her. And I was just kind of just talking to her about what motivates her and stuff like that. And she just told me, she's very transparent. And she said, well, they don't know what I'm going through, and they don't understand my situation, and they don't know how I feel, and they're putting all this work on me. So we got in there, talked, I supported her. She ended up letting me know, she's never told anyone before. She told me that she had stage 3 cancer, and she didn't know how to say that. She didn't know how, she didn't want anyone up in her business, but that was the beacon of how she felt. It was because she was sick. And she's still alive today, so don't be crying and stuff, Audrey. But she's still alive today, but it really opened the door for a lot of conversation, because it needs to be a conversation. And I just challenge assistant principal, leaders of any sort. You need to talk to your people. You need to talk to your staff. And then from there, that opened the door. Like, that's why the relationship piece and being connected is so powerful. It's so powerful because it gives you like a little peek into what motivates staff. What will they work for? What supports do they need so that they can be their best, and ultimately for student success? So.
Love it. Love it. Love it. I got one more for y'all. One more, then we go to those rapid fire, as I call them, BAM questions. And I'm going to go with you, Audrey, first. Audrey, there is an aspiring administrator out there watching right now, I'm going to assume, or who will see the video later, who will watch the two of you and be highly inspired and want to be like you, right? They're trying to get that job, but those doors are just not open right now. So it's interview after interview after interview. Frustration sets in. And then I turn on the academy this morning and I see you, and I'm that person for a moment, and man, I want to be like them. I want to be like Dr. Lakeisha Williams. I want to be like Audrey B. Coleman, but because I know I could do it like them, but the door's not open. Hey, Audrey, what I'm asking you to do, because I know these folks watch this platform, they want to get into these positions, and it's hard sometimes. What you got for that person to keep that person inspired?
I'm going to say be patient, because every door that opens might not be the door you need to walk in. And then also, while you're in your season of being patient, you need to network, get your name out there, tell everybody who you are, tell your story so other people can see who you are, and work on your craft so that when you are in that position, you know exactly what you need to do.
And let me put a slight bit of pressure on you, Audrey, before I go to Dr. Williams. When I said what I said it in the abstraction. Now you see the people. They're right there. Right? They're right there. Now that you got some real faces to speak to, what can you add to what you just said?
Again, also just making sure that you follow up. Don't get discouraged. Don't be disappointed. Don't get frustrated, because it's going to get frustrated. I was there. I interview after interview after interview after interview. But when God opens the door, that's the door you need to walk into, because sometimes the doors are closed because that's not where God wants you to be. So just be patient. Your time will come. Don't give up. Keep pushing, keep learning, keep developing yourself, and you will get exactly what you need to have.
Love it.
Because maybe it's not the assistant principal. Maybe you need to go ahead and apply to be the principal. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what God is having you to do. So just keep hope alive.
Powerful, powerful. Dr. Williams, same thing.
The same as she just said. Be patient and let your ego and your pride fall to the wayside. I'm telling you, just be patient. Focus on the work. When you focus on the work, you don't have time to say, oh, is that door about to open? Oh, how did she get that position and I didn't? Or it's time. I'm waiting. No, put all that energy and focus on where you are right now and perfect that. Stay grounded, because that's going to keep you grounded. Because I'm telling you, When you get into these positions, you think it's going to be grand. Oh, all right. Now, yeah, you're going to be excited. But then the actual work is going to come in. And the situations that are going to be hard, and you're going to have to revert back to that foundation. You learn how to be on the next level in the level that you're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to focus. You need to perfect what you're doing now and have some fun too. Don't keep yourself in a box and say, I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to go to Aruba until I get this assistant principalship. No, live your life and have fun, and don't worry about it. Just do the legwork necessary. Get that resume up to par. Make sure you apply. Like Audrey said, apply. Put yourself in those circles that you want to be, that you want to elevate to. Surround yourself with people who are there and who are going there, so that you can focus and stay on the right track. Yep. But I know it's easier said than done. Do not worry about it. Your time will come. Trust me, because a lot of situations and doors are opening, and it's not for you. It's like a big X sign saying, no, yeah, it looks good. It looks good, but it's not your door. No. Okay. And you just need to have the discernment to know which doors are yours and which doors are not yours. And lastly, be open. Assistant principal may not be where you're supposed to go. It might be somewhere higher. You're going to always go where you make the biggest impact. And you have to be comfortable with that. Okay. But just focus on where you are right now. Learn everything you need to learn and just be prepared. But I'm telling you, because I did that. I focused on it, and I was just sitting there saying, hey, I'm seeing all these other people moving up, and I'm sitting up here, over here somewhere, with a blanket on and some house shoes. I'm just playing. But, I'm sitting over here somewhere, and I'm waiting for my time. But in that time of waiting, that's when you're going to get I'm telling you, let me say that again. In that time of waiting, you're going to get everything you need in order to be able to go to that next level.
Right.
Okay. So don't focus on moving up. Yeah, do the legwork, but focus on what you're doing. And trust me, it will happen right before your eyes. You'll move, or you'll say, wow, because my assistant principalship came, and I was in Jamaica having a good time, because I said to myself, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to enjoy the journey. That's what I want to say too. Enjoy the journey on your way to where you want to go, because then you're going to look back and you're going to say, what? I don't really have nothing to say about that, or I don't have any type of substance. I don't remember my substance in order to move me to that next level. But right where you are right now, everybody, world, this is your training, working on your patience, working on your assertiveness. Just stay right here and learn all of you can. It will come. Trust me, it will come. Just be patient.
I love
it.
Be patient. I love it. And that person I had up here is I can't find. Oh, here it is. SW. I'm a new AP with improper mentorship on an island and don't want to tell on people, but this is a missing aspect. Not sure what to do yet. I'm gonna say this to you, SW. That's why I created this platform. In my hope, I don't know if you've been with us, been rocking with us since over the past 3 years, three and a half years almost. But go back to the YouTube channel, AP and New Principals Academy, and check out what's being said. But I'll also say this to you, SW. That's why I don't just bring on these people that wrote a zillion books and sitting up in the ivory tower. That's why I go and find folks who are on the front lines that folks in this audience can identify with a lot better than they can that superstar that's not necessarily reachable, right? So, listen to the two guests that I have today, Dr. Williams and Mrs. Coleman, and just so many of the others. And, there's answers here, but just make sure you stay locked in. Hey, we down to the BAM questions. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get rapid fire, one word or one sentence answer. Right? Okay. No paragraphs. Right? You throw a comma, but once it's like multiple commas, too many. Right? So just give me your first thought. I'm gonna start with you, Dr. Williams. Is education on the right path for underserved children?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Is education on the right path for underserved students?
Almost. One word. Almost. We're getting there.
Or sentence.
We're in the process. Okay, we're in the process right now of making sure that we have the right people that want the job, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So we're in the process of getting the right people on board, and we are headed towards the upstream to soar like an eagle. So I would say, yes, we're poking in the right direction.
Can true equity occur in America's schools for Black, brown, and other underserved students?
Oh, all these are my questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Rapid fire.
Okay, I'm sorry. Repeat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can true equity occur in America's schools for Black, brown, and other underserved students?
Yes.
Does Dr. Lakeisha Williams' work contribute to the progress we desperately need?
Heck yeah.
If you could do a reset on your life, would your line of work be different or the same?
The same.
Why do you continue to do this work?
This is what the Lord told me to do. I have an allegiance to God.
What fires you up within the work that you do?
Being able to inspire people and make a positive impact in the lives of the least of these.
What do you love most about the work you do?
The collaboration and building relationships.
What do you dislike about your work?
When everyone's not on the same page, when there's a bunch of different answers flying all in the background.
What has been your greatest victory in this work to date?
Being able to reach the lives of the least of these.
And what was your greatest mistake in this work?
I don't say anything's a mistake, it's experience. I'm learning. It's not a mistake. It was supposed to happen for me to learn a particular thing, not a mistake.
Now that's a unique answer. Wow. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Good stuff. Audrey, here we go. What has been your greatest challenge in this work?
My greatest challenge in this work is getting everyone to buy in.
Are you proud of your first year as an assistant principal?
Yes.
Who inspires you in this work?
My family.
What are you reading right now? Book, blog, article, anything?
Leading with the Limp by Dan Allender.
What book would you recommend for our viewers this afternoon?
Rich Brain, Poor Brain.
What do you want to accomplish that you have not accomplished yet?
I feel like I'm in the season I need to be in. So whatever season I go to next, that'll be the season I need to accomplish.
Are you satisfied with where you are professionally now?
Yes.
What could you say to a viewer out there who continues to face closed doors, which was comparable to that other question I asked?
Wait, be patient.
What could you say to a viewer out there who's lost their fire?
If you lost your fire, revisit your why. Look at yourself, reflect, and revisit your why.
And then lastly, same question for both of you, starting with Audrey. If Audrey B. Coleman was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Determination.
If Dr. Lakeisha Coleman was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Fire, because I bring it, baby.
Fire.
In all areas.
Fire. And I love it. I just want to shout out, what's that? Air Saloon, perhaps.
Yeah, some Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
Yeah.
We are worldwide.
Woo-woo.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. We got a lot of check in. Appreciate you being here. I don't know what time it is out there, but appreciate you being here at the Academy. You know, I appreciate the two of you. This was dynamite. It was extraordinary. It exceeded all expectations. Folks, to the regulars out there, you know how we applaud our guests. I see Melissa already started, but give me them emojis, whatever your favorite emojis are, the fire, the hearts, the bombs, the diamonds, the gems, the whatever it is. Give us those emojis and let us know. That is how you let us know if you appreciated what you heard, if it resonated with you, if it was useful, if it was beneficial, if you could take it with you to your leadership. to your school. Oh man, I see it all coming, man. I see it.
Thank you.
And Marcus Scott the fourth, I see you, man. I'm gonna be in touch with you. I'm gonna be in touch. Y'all just be patient with me. I got so many people on that list, but I got you. Yeah, keep that fire coming. I see it. Kofi, same thing. We're gonna do that husband and wife thing. I got you. The Mississippi head's gonna be on here. I got you, man. That's a lot of emojis, y'all. Appreciate that. I see my aunt Kathy Baggett in the building. She was on
here,
man. Yeah.
All right now.
Let me get this my emoji, man.
I got no pop.
Oh, you better hit you out.
Yeah. Y'all better back up, man.
Back to Audrey.
You hit it out the park, Graham.
Hit it out the park. That's right.
Knock them out.
Yeah, I appreciate it, y'all.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes,
when you asked us to do this, we were like, us? But thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Kathy. Yeah, so that's my aunt. We were cruising to all the family, man. We had a good week last week before I came back to Norfolk and Vegas. But listen, y'all, there were a lot of questions. I didn't put the questions because I wanted to stay focused, but there a lot of people asking y'all questions. How can they get in touch with you? Pretty much via social media, unless you want to put your email, but your social media. How can they get in touch with you? Start with
well, I have a Twitter. You can reach out to one Audrey Williams, and you can reach me out on Facebook as Audrey Coleman.
All right, so the number one Audrey Williams.
Number one Audrey Williams
on Twitter. And then Audrey Coleman on Facebook. All right, good. And then how about you, Doc?
I have an email. Leah, LAIYAH 2014 at yahoo.com. Also, I have a Facebook. It's just
before you go to Facebook, give me that slower so that they
I'm sorry. LAIYAH 2014 at yahoo.com.
All right.
And then I have a Facebook, Lakeisha Williams, and I also have an Instagram page in which I track the success of the schools that I've been in and all the activities that we do, and you'll see the kids, and I'm having a great time. And that is just under Dr. with the lowercase Dr. _ all lowercase LAKEISHA _AP.
All right. That was a lot. I hope y'all got that, but if you didn't, go to the Facebook page and
keep pausing it so you can get all that.
I'm easy to find.
Just rewind it and keep hitting that pause button. Yeah. Well, hey, let me wrap it up. Y'all stay on with me until I go off, and so we can talk off camera. Hey, y'all, number one, thanks for being here as always.
Yes.
For week 171 under our new title, AP and New Principals Academy. Make sure you tell somebody for next week, come and join us. But I appreciate you always being here. Some of you have been with us for the entire 171 weeks, and I appreciate that immensely. Join me next week, week 172. I think I'll be here. Yeah, I will be here, so I won't be on the road, so I can scream loud. So join me for 172, where my guest will be Tracy Berry McGee. That's a friend of mine, my buddy out in St. Louis, who is known for I Define Me. Got a lot of books out there. We'll talk about that, but I Define Me. So we'll have St. Louis in the building with Tracy Berry McGee. Every Saturday, Facebook Live, Sean Hurt, but he won't be available next week because his sons are in basketball tournaments. But every Saturday, Sean Hurt, 10 o'clock. Create and Educate with the two doctors, Sheila Houston and Tammy Taylor at 10:30. Unlock the Middle on Sunday night with my man Josh Tovar and Dean Packard. And in the Village Leadership Group with Dr. Roz Gaskins and her sister, Coach Williams, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6. Make sure you get your hands on the two books that coincide. Let me just clear my screen a little bit there. The two books that coincide, the Assistant Principal Identity, which is the newest one, and then the Assistant Principal 50. Oh, there you go. I appreciate that, Audrey. There you go. So get yourself a copy of both. But now that I got the principal in the title, the new principles, get yourself the Principal 50, and get yourself Is My School a Better School Because I Lead It. I actually wrote another book. It's called The Assistant Principal Impact, but we're going to wait a year to release it. So it's written, it's done. It's sitting right on this computer, but we're going to wait a year because this one is so new that I need to keep some muscle behind it before I put another book out. So it's all done though. That's that grind, just writing. Visit principalkafele.com for all my resources. Subscribe to the to the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel. Subscribe to it and like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. I will start with the commentaries back in when we get to September, and I'll do that for the year until I get to the summer. And then lastly, your diet, man. Take care of yourself. Did I overdo it on the cruise ship? A little something. I did. I mean, I wasn't bad with, my wife just said so. I wasn't bad with it, but you know, I had a little bit more pizza than I normally would have. A little more. I ain't do bad on the cookies. It was just the pizza or the popcorn. A little bit more popcorn than I normally would have, but outside of that, I was good. But I'm back stronger than ever. So your diet, your exercise, and your COVID precautions, y'all take care of yourselves. Other than that, have a great week.
Bye.
Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.
Thumbs up. Cock that fist back. 1, 2, 3. Bam! Woo! I see y'all next Saturday, man. Y'all stay safe out there.